So this new driver has been 20 years in the making and could possibly mark the end of the titanium era of drivers. Welcome to the TaylorMade Stealth driver. So welcome back to the channel, everybody. It's exciting times. It's a TaylorMade launch, new drivers for 2022, and it's the Stealth. We've got three driver heads. We've got the Stealth Plus, and then the Stealth HD. The HD stands for high draw. We're going to maybe not look at that too much detail in that in this particular video, but we're going to really test the Stealth and the Stealth Plus, the two mainstream drivers from TaylorMade. So from these two models, we're going to take a look at the Stealth driver is a bit more of a higher launch, low spin characteristics, and then we've got the Stealth Plus, which has the immovable weight on the bottom of the sole for dialing that center of gravity location, draw, fade, spin bias. So plenty to talk about with this brand new driver from TaylorMade. Carbon face is a big thing, the red face, very visible. We saw maybe Tiger Woods just put this into the bag when he played in the PNC sort of championship. So it does look exciting. It's very, very different, isn't it? So let's get underway. Let's get one hit, because I'm really excited to give this a hit. And as always, first impressions, put that down by the golf ball. It's very different to what we've seen with Sim 2 lineup and maybe other TaylorMades in the past. We've gone back to a black head and it looks great. I mean, I've always been a fan of the shape of the TaylorMade head. The colourings I quite liked in the Sim 2, to be honest. I did quite like but I think I do prefer this black. It definitely draws your eye more to the club face and that red face there. So not as busy on the back with the different colours and sort of trimmings and all that on the back of the golf club. But let's get this first one hit. 9-degree head. Well, that's a good opening shot. Really good ball flight there. Felt pretty good. Club speed 114, ball speed 165. Quite a nice low spin, just getting around that 280 on that carry, getting out that 310 mark. So big talking point obviously is this carbon face. We're going to talk a lot about this, and this is what TaylorMade are sort of really pushing this new driver from them. 60 layers of carbon. So let's talk about it. So the carbon face is much stronger than titanium as a material. We've got 60 layers on this club face. Yes, 60 layers. Bear in mind, Sim 2 product had 6 layers of carbon on the crown and then 9 layers on the sole, which absorbed a little bit obviously potential impact on the ground. This has now got 60 layers on the club face, so it's incredibly strong, but it's also incredibly light, and it's 44% lighter than Sim 2 product in the titanium face. So as we know, when you save weight, we can do other things in the head. So 44% lighter, but they can make it 11% bigger club face again against that Sim 2 product. So large club face, a little bit more forgiveness, and trying to get speed up and across that club face. And again, plus with that weight saving, they're putting that CG much deeper and lower in the club. Okay, again, not a bad strike, quite nice and accurate. A bit more of a low spin, cut that slightly higher up in the club face there, so that spin just dropped off a little bit lower. So as I say, this is the plus version, so movable weight, this is more of a lower spin characteristics in this club. So as I say, really interesting to see the sound hear the sound, should I say, and the feel of the golf club. You know, when you hear about a carbon face, we've seen carbon drivers in the past. You know, memorable one was the Callaway C4. It was horrendous. It was probably their worst driver ever. I think Yonex did a carbon head as well. You know, the sound was very sort of muted. Bear in mind, we've seen some really good sounds with Sim 2 product. You know, that muted sound. I was expecting this to be really quiet and dull sounding, and it isn't. It's very strange. It's a fantastic sound. I think it is a little bit duller than Sim 2, but not as what I was expecting. It's still got a little bit of that titanium sort of feel to it. We've got the black glossed front section that wraps around the back of the head, but with it being black on black, obviously it's the darkest crown TaylorMade have produced. It definitely draws your eye back to the club face and not to the back of the driver with all the colours that we've maybe seen in the past. We've got that red face, which is very distinctive, isn't it? And apparently going forward, these can be customised where you can choose your different colour club face, different trimmings, sort of colouring on the back, the weights, everything like that. So it can be very customisation. Just that little T logo on the top as a little bit of an alignment aid. Okay, there's a little bit of a slightly high toe strike flown very straight. That ball speed just dropping a little bit, lower spin because of that high strike, but still does very well. So just going back to talk a little bit about this actual club face. As I say, we've got those 60 layers of carbon, and from what TaylorMade had gone through with the prototypes, bear in mind this has been 20 years apparently in the making of testing carbon faces, is if they left it with just a raw carbon face, the spin was too high. So what they did then, they introduced a little bit of the sort of grooving, so some subtle little grooves in there. We've got the little white colour etchings there, but we've actually got grooves in the club face. Very difficult to see, but you can actually just feel them. So that's helping to control that spin. And then they put this nano texture coating on it, which does feel, when you feel it, it feels a little bit rubbery. Obviously it isn't, but it just gives you that texture, and that's where they're getting that spin and launch in that exact area that they sort of want it from this carbon face. But do stay tuned, because a video will come in very shortly with a direct comparison between Stealth and the Sim 2 product. So do keep your eyes peeled and make sure you've hit that subscribe button so you do not miss that video. Again, that wasn't a perfect strike, it's got a little bit of fade, it's very straight, and that's some decent ball speed. I didn't feel like I flushed that. 165. Again, quite low on the spin, so maybe just need to be cranking my loft up a little bit, try and get that launch up. I tend to just get my launch low when I hit that slightly low heel sort of shot. As I say, we've got this adjustable weight track in the bottom, which I didn't see in Sim 2. We've now reintroduced that, which I think is a good thing. For me, it's a 10 gram weight, and it would be more used to try and track against a strike location. So moving CG, a little bit more that 10 gram mass behind a certain strike pattern, probably more so than trying to feel like it's going to hit draws and fades, even though you've got the word draw and fade on the bottom. Similar technology we've seen before, speed pocket in the bottom. Again, those low strikes would tend to sort of see that little bit more flex in the bottom of the head, keeping that ball speed up. We've got that inertia generator on the back, again helping with aerodynamics, creating club head speed on that downswing to maximize that. And then we've got the neck sleeve, as always, which can move loft up and down by 2 degrees and also change lie angle and also face angle. And of course we've got twist face as well on the club face for those low heel and high toe strike. That's a ripper. A little bit of higher launch. That's a better strike, to be honest. Good ball speed. That'll be in that air a little bit longer. Be better carry on this one. Yeah, there you go. Getting into that 180. It's a bit higher launch, a little bit of that lower spin. Okay, so just switching the heads over now into the Stealth. So what we see with Stealth now, we lose that weight track in the front. So we've got no adjustability on the weight, and we've got a little bit more obviously weight in the back of the club, which helps then with regards to a little bit of a higher launch, but still with that low spin. For maybe aimed at that golfer who just wants a little bit of help on the launch in the golf ball. Maybe just wants that little bit more forgiveness, a slightly higher MOI with obviously moving that weight away from the front and just having it in that back. Again, I've got a 9-degree head, and that just sits very, very similar to what I've just done. Doesn't look really any different. What I didn't sort of point out on before, and what is, you don't really sort of see it in the playing position, but you've just got Stealth sort of embossed in the, just in that inside heel on the crown, and it's black, so you don't see it unless you look close. It looks really cool. When you put it in that playing position, you can hardly see it, so it doesn't draw your eye, but you've just got that nice little logo in there. So as I say, looks to sit exactly the same shaft as what I've just had in. Oh, that's an absolute cracker to start with. Very similar to that last one I just hit there, to be honest. A little bit higher on that launch, so in that 12 area, which is good for me. That's where I need to try and get my launch a little bit. Again, still low spin, 280 on that carry. And again, much higher on that ball flight. Yeah, 12.5, see it just gets up there. Good ball speed. There's a little bit more carry. Exactly what I was sort of saying, that launch 13, you see that spin low, high launch, low spin. We know that's a good recipe for some added yards. And do you know what? I can probably just feel the difference of where that weight is positioned in the head. You know, with that 10 gram gone out the front, we've got the weight now just in the back. I can feel that a little bit different. It does feel a little bit more forgiving, I must admit. It's a little bit higher flight than what I'm used to, but it's doing what it's supposed to be doing here. As what TaylorMade is saying, a bit more of a higher launch, but keeping that low spin. Yeah, again, I'm still sort of trying to get over the sound of this. It's a great sound. I really like the sound of that. It's just completely against what I was expecting to hear with that full carbon club face. I was expecting such a dull, muted, sort of like dead feel in a way, but it's not. It's still got that nice acoustics there of that sort of little bit of, when I say tinny, that little bit of a driver sound in a way without it, well, that titanium sound without it being dead. Feels good off the club face, feels explosive. Okay, again, that's a little bit high toe. Again, it's flown, it's up there, it's nice and straight. Take that all day long on the golf course. Wasn't a perfect strike. A little bit of twist face maybe helping me out. So the technology in the Stealth against the Stealth Plus, just exactly the same. It's just a different of that launch characteristics. So just the movable track disappears in the Stealth. The rest of it, the face, the crown, the look, it is exactly the same, doesn't change. Oh, pulled that. That spoilt me a little dispersion. Yeah, just pulled that a little bit. Again, decent ball speed, club head speeds there. Okay, right, let's just go and check a few numbers out and see how that Plus and the Stealth perform. Okay, so just have a little look at bird's eye view, side on view drivers first, because I think we can maybe just see a little bit of the difference of that sort of flight characteristics between the two models. So the white views here are the Plus, so the one with the adjustable weight at the front, a little bit more lower forward CG, tends to, as we mentioned, creates a little bit more of a mid-launch, low spin characteristics. Then we just flip into the orange now, which is the standard Stealth. So we lose that movability of the front weight, a little bit more weight back, higher MOI. You can see that the peak of the flights here a bit higher. Obviously that was that high toe one, which obviously dropped a lot shorter, a bit higher spin, high toe. That's a miss hit more than me, but you can see the other good hits are in that area. Moving back to there, you see just that little bit lower, back to there, just that little bit higher. And then looking at the numbers between those two drivers, so 114 on average, so identical there. You can see ball speed absolutely identical. Launch just a little bit higher with that weight at the back. You see up to 12.2 against that 11.11. Probably if I just take that 8 there out, a little bit of a bad strike, just pops it up a little bit more. So just that other one, the standard Stealth, just giving that little bit more launch, little bit more spin there against the Plus version, and distance wise a little bit more, just because it suits me to have that launch in that sort of 12 area. Just I always tend to squeeze a little bit more out of it on there, but so you can see the Plus there coming in a little bit lower spin. The land angle there is 29 degrees against 35, so I'm getting that little bit of extra run out. So again, it depends on the flight that you like to see as a golfer, whether you're trying to maximize yardage or if you're trying to play within certain conditions. You know, if you play at a windy golf course, that slightly lower flight, lower spin might just suit your eye a little bit better. Okay, so welcome to the world of the carbon wood from TaylorMade. Post comments down below, let me know your thoughts. Would you go Stealth? Would you go Stealth Plus? Is that something you'd want to try for maybe your new driver for 2022? Love to hear your thoughts as always, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.